You made this decision when you were 18, maybe 17, sitting at a kitchen table, or in a guidance counselor's office, or on a couch, scrolling through acceptance letters, signing paperwork you did not fully understand, for a number you could not actually picture. Not because you weren't smart enough, because nobody hands an 18-year-old a piece of paper that shows them what that number actually turns into. 20 years later, nobody shows you the version of yourself at 38, still paying it off, still making decisions around it, still explaining it when you talk about buying a house. In the next few minutes, I am going to show you the real cost of that decision. Not the number on the paper, the number it quietly becomes. Right now, Americans are carrying $1.87 trillion in student loan debt. That is not a typo. Trillion. With AT. More debt, as a country, than every credit card balance combined. Second only to mortgages. The average borrower owes $43,570. Not the sticker price of the degree. What's actually still owed. Today. Right now. Almost half of last year's graduating class walked out of school carrying debt, before they had earned a single real paycheck, before they had a job, before they had an income to measure it against. And here is the part nobody puts in the brochure, nobody puts on the campus tour, nobody mentions at the financial aid office. 69% of Americans now say a college degree is not as important as it used to be for actually earning a good living. Read that again. 69%. Let that sit for a second. The people who already went, the people who already have the degree, already have the debt, already lived the outcome, are telling you the math changed. And yet, the decision still gets made the exact same way it always has. Pick a school, pick a major, sign the loan, figure out the rest later. No ROI calculation. No comparison to the alternative. No plan for what happens if the number doesn't work out the way you assumed it would. Just a story. A story that sounds like this. This is what you're supposed to do. Everyone does this. You'll figure out the money part later. And so you do it. Not because it's wrong to go to college. Not because debt itself is the enemy. We've already covered that debt, used with intention, is one of the most powerful tools the wealthy use. This is different. Because nobody ever taught you to treat this decision, the biggest financial decision most people make in their entire 20s, the same way the wealthy treat every other investment they make. With numbers. With a plan. With a real answer to one simple question. Which is exactly where we're going next. Here is why this decision is different from every other decision we've covered on this channel. Every other trap we've talked about. Lifestyle creep, spending without a plan, debt used carelessly. Those happen slowly but visibly. You feel them. You see your balance. On some level, something is wrong. This one is different. Because for the first 10 to 20 years, it doesn't feel like a mistake at all. It just feels like a monthly payment. $277 a month, on average. Not enough to panic over. Not enough to even really notice. Just enough to quietly sit there. Every single month. Canceling out everything else you're trying to build. And here's the number that makes this real. Not the loan itself. What that loan actually costs you, in the one place you're not looking. Remember what we covered last video. $500 a month, invested from your 20s, becomes over $1 million by retirement. That's the power of pay yourself first. Now here's the trade most people don't realize. They're making every single month, without knowing it. Every dollar going toward a loan payment that isn't attached to real earning power is a dollar that could have been compounding in your favor instead. $277 a month for 10 years straight isn't just $33,000 paid out, invested instead at the historical market average. That same money becomes over $50,000. You simply never got to build. That's the invisible cost, not the debt itself. The version of your future. That debt quietly erased, one unnoticed payment at a time. And here's the part that makes this even harder to see. It's not the size of the loan that actually determines the damage. It's whether the degree behind it was ever worth the number in the first place. A $30,000 loan for a degree that doubles your income over your career is one of the best financial decisions you will ever make. Full stop. But a $30,000 loan for a degree that doesn't move your income at all is $30,000 plus interest with zero return to show for it. Same loan amount, same monthly payment, same 18-year-old, signing the same paperwork. Completely different outcome 20 years later. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Almost nobody runs that comparison before they sign. Not because they don't care, because nobody ever taught them that the comparison even exists. Nobody sits you down at 18 and says, before you sign this, let's calculate what the alternative would have earned you instead. That conversation almost never happens, which means the invisible cost stays invisible for years, sometimes for decades, until someone finally does the math and realizes how much quieter their financial life could have been. Here's what the wealthy actually do differently, and it's simpler than you'd expect. They don't avoid debt. We covered that 2 videos ago. Debt, used with intention, is one of their favorite tools. They don't avoid education either. Some of the wealthiest people alive have multiple degrees. What they avoid, every single time, is signing anything, a loan, a lease, a business deal, without running the numbers first. And I'm going to show you the exact question they ask before every major decision. The one question that would have changed this outcome for millions of people. The question is simple. Almost embarrassingly simple. So simple that when you hear it, you might feel a little frustrated that nobody asked it for you back when it actually mattered. What does this number turn into? Think about how differently this decision would have gone if someone had asked you that before you signed anything. Not a lecture. Not a warning. Just one question. Not, what does this cost? Not, can I afford the monthly payment? What does it turn into? A degree that leads to a $15,000 starting salary bump every single year for the next 30 years of your career is worth borrowing for. The math works in your favor almost immediately. That's not a gamble. That's leverage, doing exactly what leverage is supposed to do. But a degree that leads to the exact same job, the exact same salary, you could have gotten without it, isn't an investment at all. It's a very expensive story you told yourself at 18. Same paperwork, same signature, completely different financial reality. This is the entire shift. Stop asking, is this the normal thing to do? Stop asking, is this what everyone else is doing? Start asking, does this number make me more money than it costs me over time? That's the question the wealthy ask before every single investment they make. A business, a property, a degree. It's the same question every time. And it is almost never asked before the single biggest purchase most people will make in their entire 20s. Not because people are careless. Not because they don't want to make good decisions. Because nobody ever told them the question existed in the first place. Nobody sat them down. Nobody wrote it on the acceptance letter. Nobody mentioned it at orientation. Now you know it does. And the next time a decision like this shows up in your life, or in the life of someone you love, you'll know exactly what to ask before anyone signs anything. So here's how you actually run this. For yourself, or for the 18-year-old in your life about to make this exact decision. 3 steps. None of them require a financial advisor. None of them require spreadsheets you don't understand. Step 1. Find the real number. Not the sticker price on the website. Not the loan amount on the paperwork. The actual starting salary data. For that specific degree, at that specific school. This information exists. It's public. Most schools are required to publish it. And almost nobody checks it before they sign. 10 minutes of searching before an 18-year commitment. That's the entire step. Not a financial advisor. Not a spreadsheet. 10 minutes and a search bar. Step 2. Compare it to the alternative. What would you earn without the degree at all? What would you earn with a cheaper version of that same degree, at a different school? What would you earn going into a trade, or a certification, that costs a fraction of the price and takes a fraction of the time? The gap between those numbers, that gap, is the real cost of the decision. Not the loan balance sitting on the paperwork. The gap. Step 3. If the number works in your favor, borrow with confidence. Debt for something that pays you back over and over for decades is not a trap. It's leverage. We already covered that. But if the number doesn't work, that's not a failure. That's the exact same system the wealthy already use, working correctly. Just this time for you. Because here's the truth. The wealthy don't avoid big financial decisions. They just refuse to make them on a story, instead of a number. Let me leave you with this. The average person will spend more time comparing phone plans than they'll spend evaluating the single decision that shapes their entire earning trajectory for the next 20 years. That's not a knock on anyone watching this. It's just what happens when a decision this big gets made before anyone ever teaches you how to actually run the math. You already know how to run it now. Every week on The Wealth Effect, we take the decisions that quietly shape decades, and we hand you the actual math hiding behind them. If this changed how you'll approach your next big decision, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss what's next. Because next week, we're looking at the exact opposite problem. Not the decision that quietly costs people money. The one that quietly makes people richer than they realize. And almost nobody ever claims it. The code is here. All you have to do is keep watching. See you next week.